Okay, for you guys at home or just want to look over the notes from today, here we go. I'll give you a little bit of time, or you can stop the video and just look. But we are using proportions to find missing links in indirect measurements. Indirect measurements uses the properties of similar triangles to find measurements that are difficult to measure directly, such as a tall building, maybe in the width of a river. It's hard to measure. So we find ways to measure them without actually measuring that part of it. One type of indirect measurement involves shadows. Okay, so in the sunlight, things cast a shadow. So let's see how these are used. Okay, I want to look at this picture first. Okay, look at this picture. I need to wipe off the blue ones. Okay, we'll just live with them. Okay, first of all, draw. These are heights. Let me tell you where I want you to put them. I should have had this done, but I did not realize it was not done. So, okay, the heights are, we're going to put right there. And then the shadows are going to be at the bottom, because shadows, they can be on a wall, but they're mostly on the ground if something is freestanding. Okay, so draw this picture, write the word heights, draw two triangles that are similar. The blue is not what I'm after, it's actually the black. Okay, I got rid of one. And then draw the word shadows, and that refers to the bottom. And again, all these structures are freestanding, so the shadows are all on the ground. It's not like someone's like up against a building with their shadow on the building, okay? Okay, so let's go to the first problem. Okay, so since we're going to be using shadows for all of these problems, go ahead and draw a generic set of shadows, or generic set of triangles. And remember, this is a height and this is a shadow. So we read the problem and put numbers where they should be. A flagpole casts a 32-foot shadow. So I'm going to put a little F here for flagpole. Then I'm going to put 32 here, because it's the shadow. At the same time that Evan casts a shadow, put a little E here to represent Evan. His shadow is 9 foot. Now, it's the same time of the day, because you know, if you stand somewhere long enough and the sun moves, the shadow is not the same, and that wouldn't be proportional. Okay, if Adam is 6 feet tall, so that's his height. Tall and height, same thing. How tall is the flagpole? How tall? How tall represents X. So then you have to make a proportion. Now watch this. I'm going to zigzag. Okay, I'm going to go from here to here to here to here. In other words, I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so watch how I write that. X goes with 6, and 32 goes with 9. So X equals, and if you cross multiply and divide, you would get 21.3 repeating. And that is feet. And you put a box around it. Now, actually, don't put a box around it yet. I want to show you something, and you can write it later. Okay. I don't know what's going on here, but I'll just do this. Okay. Now, do you see this stuff I have on the left-hand side? I want you to stop at some point and write those, because we're going to be using it. Okay, now, okay. 0.3 repeating. Okay, I'm going to slide down here, and I'm looking for 0.3 repeating. Do you see this? Okay, so I'm going to back up, and I'm going to put 1/3 foot. So it's 21 1/3 foot. So I'm going to go up there and finish my answer. Okay, 21 1/3 foot, or feet. And then I put a box around it. This can be kind of tricky. Okay, now for the next one, draw these generic triangles and make sure you can put the right numbers in the right place. Remember, shadows go on the ground and heights are actually vertical, okay? And what I'd like you to do is, the answers are in the stream, so I want you to stop the video or either leave it on these parts of a foot and work problems 1 through 9. Again, the answers are in the stream. Okay, so I assume you have stopped the video, you're working those problems, and now we're going to go back to this one. I'm going to work this one with you, although they're not that difficult. Surveyors also use similar triangles to find distances that do not involve shadows. Given the diagram, find each missing measure, round to the nearest tenth when necessary. Okay, think about this. And by the way, this is a really wide river. I will go ahead and tell you the answer is 132 feet. So do you understand why they can't just walk across that water and measure? So they're using indirect measures. So there are really good reasons to learn how to indirect measure. Okay, now they can measure along the bank. They can measure here along the bank, and they can measure on the ground. But they can't, it's really, really hard to throw a tape measure across that river and just measure it, especially since we already know the answer is 132 feet. Okay, so we're going to use similar triangles. Okay, now there are no angle measures. There's not many angle measures. I see a right angle, but I don't see those marks. Remember those marks? We had single and double and all that. I don't see any. So listen to my logic. Do you remember the name of the side of the triangle that's always the longest if it's right? You should have said hypotenuse. Okay, so do you see the hypotenuse? I'm going to put it, I'll put an H here and here. You notice they have no numbers on them. Now what is left? We have a short side and a medium side. We have a short side and a medium side. Well, now you know which sides go together or correspond. So I'm going to put the short sides correspond, and I'm going to change color, and the medium sides correspond. So now we should be able to make a proportion and solve the length of this river, which again, the width of the river, which again is 132 feet. So let's do this, and I'm going to kind of do the zigzaggy stuff. I'm going to go x to 82.5, x 82.5. And then I'm going to zag back across 24 to 15. Okay, and then you should be able to finally get the answer. Now number 9 is 132 feet. I already told you that, didn't I? Okay, now I want to slide up because I do remember kids in class having a question about something. Okay, do you see this 3 inches? Clint is 6 feet 3 inches tall. Okay, so I'm going to look up in my list for 3 inches. Okay, do you see 3 inches? So I'm going to use this that'll be 6.25. Okay, so you can use the chart from front to back to front, it doesn't matter. 2/5, I would say take a calculator and say 2 divide 5, and that would be 98 point something, whatever it says on your calculator. I don't know why my program is jumping around like this. Okay, last one that I'll do with you. The triangles below are similar. Find the distance from Avon to Franklin. Okay, Avon to Franklin, I'm going to put an X there. And then I got to figure out what in the world, which ones go together. Okay, again, do you see the hypotenuse? It's always across from the right angle. This is the hypotenuse. So we have a number there. And look at this one, across from the right angle, guess what? The hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, the longest side, and it's always across from the right angle. So I can already actually start building a ratio here to go with my proportion. Now, I got 2 other ones. I got 2 other numbers, and since that's all we have, okay, let me see. This is the shortest side. This is the medium side. Shortest side, medium side. So I am very sure that these correspond. Okay, let's zigzag. Okay, I'm going to say 150 to X. Looks like a 6, but you heard me. 150 to x, okay? So 150 to x, 128 to 80. Okay, and cross multiply and divide. And your answer comes out to be 93.75. Okay, now I'm going to actually ask you to look up at that chart again. I'm going to look for 0.75. Okay, now do you see 0.75 is actually 3/4 of a foot? Okay, so I'm going to put 93, excuse me, or and 3/4 foot. Okay, and let's put a box around this one. Okay, and don't forget to turn this in. This is an attendance assignment. So anyway, I will talk to you later. Oh, by the way, look at this. You have a test Friday, and I'm going to put up a review. And the review, there will be some due tomorrow, some due the next day, and some due, so it's Friday, so it's not all due in one day. Okay? Goodbye. Or I should say bye for now.